dream of 82-0 is over. Just kidding. But not really. Regardless, Knicks go on to lose 115-107, their first loss of the season in Miami. They'll be facing the Milwaukee Bucks on Tuesday on national TV. But before I get into the breakdown, what's going on, everybody? This is Luca here from KnicksCast. If you guys haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you know when I go live or drop a new video. Also, as well, in addition with that Bucks game, we will be streaming that Bucks game. So catch us on the KnicksCast channel. The game, I think, starts around 7:30 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. But hope to see you guys there. Regardless, Knicks lose a doozy here in Miami, and the Knicks were without Deuce McBride, Mitchell Robinson. The Miami Heat were without Tyler Hero. And this was going to be a back-and-forth game. We all knew that. Listen, the Heat, are they a great team? No. They, I believe, started out the first two games of the season as the number one offensive rated team. Like, they were really running some cool stuff. Tyler Hero picked it up, or I should say the offense picked it up. Different pieces. Bam Adebayo, I think, had a really good game against the Memphis Grizzlies. I believe he had 4 threes in a quarter. The offense was like looking really good in all parts. Norman Powell, obviously a big key in this game, has had a nice start to the season as well. But if I'm going to, and there were some positives in this game. Jalen Brunson, you could say, had his first complete game of the season. He did have a good second half versus the the Boston Celtics. Cleveland Cavaliers, I think he was just getting into that rhythm a little bit. Aside from that, Mikal Bridges had a 20-point game. OG Anunoby looked all right. But aside from that, there wasn't a lot to like from this game. Yes, it's only one loss, so we can only analyze what we see, can't overreact. But I believe that the biggest error of this game was Mike Brown subbing out Jalen Brunson with 4 minutes to do 4 minutes and 2 seconds to go in the third quarter. And the problem was, third quarter, the Knicks are starting to go on a tear. Jalen Brunson's hitting threes. He's getting to the paint with reckless abandon, just like he did in the first 2 quarters. The Knicks are moving. They're moving the ball. They're doing their thing. Brunson's cooking. Towns has 4 fouls, so I get resting Brunson. I get that to a point, but it's especially more egregious that Mike Brown subbed out Jalen Brunson for Tyler Kolek when the offense needed a spark. I also think for too long in this game that Mike Brown relied on the likes of Guerschon Yabusele. I'm going to get to him in a minute. Also, Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson was not particularly good in this game. There was one play how he blew a wide open layup, did a funky reverse, and just rimmed out. He was chucking shots all game, and that's kind of the balance with Jordan Clarkson, or the lack thereof, I guess some would say. Clarkson, he can have his really good games where he looks like that microwave scorer. He's going to put up like 20-something odd points off the bench, double digits. He's going to really help your team win. But this was one of those games where it's like it's really frustrating and really aggravating to see him out on the floor because he's chucking shots. He's missing layups. He's missing defensive breakdowns. He made a few nice passes, but a lot of the shot chucking was a lot of contested shots. It's not like most of them were open. A lot of contested three-pointers, a lot of drives that are contested mid-range shots, some floaters. He did have that one-and-one, but that was luckily on his own perseverance. But besides the first 2 games where I thought he was all right, I would say he was better in the Celtic game as opposed to the Cleveland Cavalier game. This was not a good one for Clarkson, and as I said, I don't know why Mike Brown stuck with him so long. When the Heat started to open the lead up to double digits, Brunson, for the majority, was still not out there. It was Jordan Clarkson, it was Tyler Kolek, it was Bridges, and it wasn't, and nothing against Mikal Bridges, but he wasn't consistent. I don't want to say consistently scoring, but he wasn't the main guy per se. And as I said, it was mainly egregious. It's not only that Karl Anthony Towns was in foul trouble, he also wasn't hitting perimeter shots till late in the game. I believe he was 0 for his first 4 or 0 for his first 6. So Lee Escobedo brought it up on our Knicks season preview that Mike Brown's usually quick with substitutions. Well, not in that case. Not in that case. And I just talked about Jordan Clarkson. Getting to Guerschon Yabusele, I'm not... for someone who liked the signings, for someone who is touted as good three-point shooter, good screener, can roll to the basket, play pick and roll, maybe some minutes at the 4 and the 5, just an efficient shot maker, and he takes the right shots in terms of three-pointers and drives to the rim and all that. I haven't really been impressed with him. The screening ability is good, but it's like pulling chicken teeth watching him shoot three-pointers. And every time he falls to the floor, it looks so clumsy. It's like, oh my God, like, could you be any more lazy or clumsy or whatever you want to call it? And it does. And most people are calling it out. Prior to the season, he, I think, weighs 263, which is actually bigger than Karl Anthony Towns, who slimmed down to 248. Yabusele is not hitting threes. He's not playing good enough defense. He's not driving to the basket or being, creative in the pick and roll where he's being found in the paint for easy buckets. Yes, he's been a good enough screener to get Jalen Brunson open on looks, especially in the paint. But what else is there? It's not been a good return on investment so far through 3 games. And yes, it's been 3 games, but analyzing what we've seen this far, it's not been a good return for Guerschon Yabusele, who was very much praised for his ability to shoot the three-pointer in Philadelphia and play some defense and the pick and roll. But at the end of the day, Yabusele has been a bust so far. And when I mentioned the three-pointer as well, to start I should say at halftime, the Knicks shot 6 of 28 from 3. Now, if I pull up the regular stats, there were guys like Clarkson, Shamet, Yabusele, Josh Hart was missing open threes. It was not a good game for the Knicks. And yes, obviously they were missing Deuce McBride, and that doesn't help at all. But the Knicks shot 27% from 3 on 54 attempts. And I'll say this. I know people will get mixed up in the fact that these are just chucking threes. You're not taking the right threes. And yes, some of them weren't the right threes. Clarkson took some contested shots. OG Anunoby in the corner took some contested shots. But in the realm of the offense, in the flow of the offense, when you miss open threes but you keep playing in the flow of the offense, you're eventually going to hit those. It was just one of those cold games. I'm not excusing it, but it's just the way it is when you're playing a fast-paced offense. This isn't like iso ball where you're just forcing up shots for three-pointers for the sake of forcing three-pointers or forcing difficult shots. These shots are going to come within the offense. So it's not only just this game that the Knicks have shot poor. It was the previous 2 games where I believe they only shot 40% from the field overall. So I'm not going to say it's been a quote-unquote struggle per se. It's been a minor struggle. Obviously, the Knicks need to be better with the three-pointers and all that. But they got away with it versus Cleveland. They got away with it versus Boston. They didn't get away with it versus Miami, who plays a very tough style of defense. And it also didn't help that the Knicks' transition defense was pretty poor tonight. So that's obviously going to get better. As I mentioned, Shamet was useless. Yabusele was useless. Shamet, I don't think I've been too impressed with him to start the season. His defense is fine, but the offense, it looked alike. I'll say this for all the Knicks tonight, for most of the Knicks who missed the three-pointers, a lot of those shots were very short. So you got to wonder if there's fatigue involved. I don't think there is too much 3 games into the season, but Shamet, not been overly impressed with him. I'd rather see a guy like Pacom Dadier, but Shamet is in the rotation. And listen, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I just don't like what I'm seeing right now from the offensive side of the ball. I think he had one good game this far. I think it was either against Boston or Cleveland. He had 6 points. But Shamet, besides defense, he hasn't brought the three-point shoot. He didn't bring the three-point shooting today. So his 3-and-D skills today were not good, not very good. And Josh Hart as well, he was involved in a major play towards the end of the game. There was a drive that Miami was pushing. I believe Powell was driving, or it was Davion Mitchell. Josh Hart leaves the corner just a little bit. Andrew Wiggins is open in the corner. Josh Hart stunts way too far out in the paint, and he leaves Andrew Wiggins wide open for the corner 3, which essentially shut the door for the Heat to beat the Knicks. And Josh Hart's defense, it's funny because I'm going to mention him again, Lee Escobedo. He mentioned on our show that Josh Hart would lose a step defensively, and you saw that a little bit today. And also that Josh Hart, despite grabbing the rebounds and doing the little things, the hustle stuff, which is great and all, not shooting the ball well. Why is he not shooting the ball well? Yes, he's not a great three-point shooter, never really has been. But he's got the I forget what you call it on the finger. He's got an injured finger right now. The stent or whatever you want to call it. Is there a concern moving? I'm gonna pose this as a question to you guys. You guys can answer in the comments down below. Are you guys concerned about Josh Hart's ability to space the floor? Do you guys think he should get surgery? Because this was a conversation some Knicks fans had before the season. Hey, saying basically, Josh, what you do for us is great, but right now, essentially, Josh Hart is playing hurt, and it's affecting his. It's not like it's just a minor bruise or something like that on his leg or whatever. It's affecting his ability to shoot. It's affecting his ability to impact the team in a positive way. Yes, the defense. I mentioned that the defense has gone down a little bit. The rebounding is great. The push and transition is great. The hustle stuff is great. But for a team that struggled to shoot from three so far this season with a lot of open looks and the spacing being so poor with Josh Hart out on the floor, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. But aside from Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson going off, Brunson had, I believe it was 37 or 35 points, was phenomenal for majority of this game. As I said, Mike Brown's biggest mistake this game was leaving Brunson out for too long, especially with Karl Anthony Towns being on the bench with foul trouble nonetheless. Mikal Bridges did have a few nice moments as well, scoring 20 points, having a 20-point game. But regardless, Knicks will face the Milwaukee Bucks on Tuesday night on NBC. We'll have coverage for that game live reactions, play-by-play. But if you guys haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so when I go live or drop a new video. It's just one game, folks. We'll evaluate. Let's hope we get it. Let's hope we rebound on the second game of the road trip in Milwaukee. Talk to you guys later.